everybody? My name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like. And today, Thursday, I am finally starting my second Vox Machina-thon Tusk Love vlog. I did take about a week off between the end of the first one and the start of this one to read some other books, but now I'm getting back on track. I've got 4 books to read for this vlog, so we are going to get into it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Vox Machina-thon Tusk Love is a readathon that I'm hosting. I won't get too into the details of it, but I will leave the first vlog that I did for it, as well as the announcement video, linked down below for you to check out for any information that you might want. But we are going to jump right into the first book that I will be reading, and I am going to be doing the prompt of Lonely, which is to read a standalone book. And the book that I've picked for this is Deep Roots by Vanessa Rhodes. This is a self-published fantasy book that I have owned an ebook copy of for probably at least 6 months at this point. Like, it's been a while, but the ebook app on my phone is where my reading plans go to die. If I own an ebook, I am almost definitely not going to read it, and I have no idea why I'm like this, but I will go and download a bunch of free ebooks and then just never touch them again. And this is a book that I got from a free promotion that the author was doing, and I was like, heck yeah, it sounds cool, let me check it out. And then I never touched it again. So I'm going to actually read it, and I'm very excited despite the fact that I have forgotten everything about this book. And I could reread the synopsis to remind myself why I was interested in the first place, but I think I might just go into this blind, or at least mostly blind. I do know that is a fantasy book. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the cover, but yeah, I am excited. I love supporting my fellow self-published authors, so that's great. And I will get going on that and give you an update when I've made it a little ways into the book and I can actually tell you what it's about. Well, friends, I come bearing not great news on this Saturday morning, and the news is that I am DNFing Deep Roots. It's not like a total DNF. I'm not putting it down forever. I just cannot get into it. I think I'm about 25-ish%, maybe even a little bit further into it, and something is preventing me from really vibing with it right now, but I can tell that it is just a right now problem, and that if I pick it up in the future, it might be better. I might, like, get into it easier. I just feel like I'm getting into a reading slump, and I felt like that for a little while now, so I don't want to force anything and make that worse, and I also want to give this book a fair shot. So it is technically a soft DNF, but it is as much as I will be reading right now. The basic gist of this book, because I did not give you any sort of synopsis, is that it's like a fairy world. Like, there's fae and also humans, and there's the different courts of the fae, and you meet several characters. There's a few POV characters, and you learn how they're all, like, connected to each other and the different fae courts. There's also, like, talk of other beings. Like, I think they mentioned vampires at one point, but we haven't really seen that. And I feel like I missed something to do with the plot, because I understand what's happening, but I don't understand how we got to the point where we started, and I'm just a little bit confused in that regard. So again, I'm gonna put it down for now and pick it up again at some point in the future, and hopefully it will go better for me then. But I will now move on to the next prompt, and hopefully this one will go a little bit better. It is a change from what I've been reading, because I mostly read fantasy, as you all know, and the other 2 books in this vlog after this next one will be fantasy, but one will be continuing a series that I know I love, and one will be Tusk Love, which I have high hopes for, so that should be fine. But I do think I need a bit of a switch up, which is why I'm glad this next book is the next book. But I will be doing the prompt of adventure, which was to go to a library or bookstore or something and just pick out the book that calls to you the most in the moment. And I went to my local indie bookstore, my local indie romance bookstore specifically, and I went to the local author section, and I picked up Strength Check by Catherine McIntyre. This is an adult romance. It is sapphic, and it is nerdy. The main character, Roxy, opens up a board game cafe, and she needs a roommate because she can't afford rent on her own, so Melody moves in, and they've both got this baggage going on, but then they, like, have real good chemistry with each other, according to the back of the book. We'll see how that goes, though. And it just sounds really fun, and we know I love nerdy romances, and we know I love queer romances, so I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited to support a fellow local author, so this might be the change I need to keep me from fully slipping into a slump. But I will get started on this and check in with you when I have an update, and hopefully the update is better than this one that I've given you, so I will see you then. Alright, friends, it has been a few hours, and I've decided to give you an update on Strength Check. I am only 56 pages in. I figured I'd do a little bit of a taste of it and let you know how I'm feeling, and I think this is going to be great for my slumpiness because it is so different. It's a little bit of a brain-off book so far, and I'm not, like, trying to discount the romance genre or anything. It is a respectable genre. I 100% putting that out there. I respect romance authors and readers and everything. I'm not saying anything bad about it. But for me, I like romance because I don't usually have to get too involved in the stakes. Like, it's a romance. You know, no matter what, the couple's gonna get together at the end. It's not like you're reading some high energy fantasy book where characters are dying left and right and you don't know what's gonna end up happening. It's just a different feel, and it's exactly what I needed right now. I feel like the formatting is throwing me off a little bit, but I will get used to it. This is a self-published book, and the author did some interesting things with formatting. So first of all, chapter 1 starts on the left, which I've never seen in a book before, but also, I don't know if you can tell, the text, there's like a tiny little gap between every paragraph, and it's also not justified, so it doesn't go all the way from margin to margin. It's like jagged on the ends of the paragraphs, so that's strange, but I'll probably get used to that after a few more chapters. I've read the first 4, so we follow Roxy and Melody. We've gotten both of their POVs, and they've both got some serious baggage relating to relationships and other things going on in their life, so neither of them are really looking for some sort of romance right now, especially not with their new roommate, because that would make things weird if it didn't work out. But there is, like, instant attraction from both of them. So Roxy is a lesbian and Melody is bisexual, so we love the varied rep in there. It's great. And I think they're pretty fun characters so far. I don't know a ton about them because, like I said, I'm only 4 chapters in, 50-something pages. But I'm excited to continue reading, and even though I don't think this is going to be anything amazing, I don't expect this to be like a 10 out of 10 new favorite, I think it's going to be super fun. So I will continue reading and get back to you with an update. I apologize for the sound of the AC going, but I just had to show you guys how cute my cats are. So the hut was on the arm of the chair while we let the Roomba clean up the floor, and I guess the cats knocked it over. And I also don't know if you can tell, but Chloe's in it. Oh, yeah, she's looking at me. Sorry, baby, I didn't mean to wake you up. I will leave you alone now and get back to my reading. Hello, friends. Happy Sunday. I have something extremely exciting to show you. I finally got my copy of Tusk Love. Oh, she's beautiful. So I wanted to buy this from my local indie romance bookstore, but they just kept having to delay selling it. Like, the first time they ordered a box. They like ordered a bunch of books and they all came damaged, and Tusk Love was part of that box. And then like their next order got delayed or something, and there's a whole bunch of problems. So I ended up ordering it from bookshop.com, .org. I don't actually know which one it is, but it's like the website where you can order books online and support your local indie through there. So they don't get as much money as they would if I like went down to the store to buy my copy, but they still get some of the money from buying it. So I finally got my copy and I'm so excited. Oh, it's beautiful. She's stunning. This cover, gorgeous. But what I'm truly excited about is, oh, first of all though, end paper's cute. Is there a map? I want to check that before we get into anything. PhD in Orc Studies. That's really funny. I don't know what that's about. No map. It just goes straight to chapter 1. But, oh, I didn't expect this to be bright orange and yellow, but that's pretty fun. What I'm the most excited for is the reverse dust jacket. This is meant to be Jester's version. So if you're not familiar with Critical Role, which I expect you would be if you're watching this video, but if you're not, Tusk Love is a book in the Critical Role universe. It is a book that exists in the world of Critical Role, like in the campaign setting. And Jester, one of the characters, is obsessed with it. And so she is an artist. And so the reverse dust jacket is like her rendition of the cover. And it's got all these doodles, and the art is of her and Ford, who is another character in campaign 2. And so like it's them in place of the main characters of Tusk Love. And then the back has praise for Tusk Love, and it's little like bits from the characters in the campaign, so like the other party members and some NPCs that they meet along the way. And the author, the real author of Tusk Love that wrote this is Theo Guanzon, the author of the Hurricane Wars. But in the campaign, the author is Matilda Merceria is her name, which is just a play on Matt Mercer, who is the dungeon master of Critical Role. So there's like a little blurb about Matilda Merceria, and like, oh, it's so cute. I love it. And I'm definitely going to be flipping the dust jacket around, so I have to flatten this out. I've never flipped a dust jacket around before. I do have a couple of books that have the reverse dust jacket art, so like this special edition copy of A Dark and Secret Magic, which I've taken the dust jacket off entirely because as much as I love both versions of the cover on the dust jacket, I love the naked hardback best. But then Vespertine, I technically have a special edition copy of, and that has a reverse dust jacket art, but I like the original better. But this I definitely want to flip around, so okay. I have absolutely no idea where that last clip cut off because my boyfriend barged into the office to chat because he didn't know that I was filming, which, in his defense, I didn't let him know that I was filming, but in my defense, he just got back from a bike ride, and that's when I got the book. He brought the package in from downstairs and had hopped in the shower, and I assumed he would take more than 4 minutes to shower, so yeah. I truly don't know where I'm gonna cut that. I guess I'll try and cut it at the end of like a sentence, but I don't know where that would be. What I was saying is I'm gonna flatten out the dust jacket so that I can flip it around and put this one on the book because it is so freaking cute. And I'm gonna try and like face it out on my shelf to show it off because I'm truly obsessed with it. There's someone drowning? Hello? And these little fishies are yelling. Down here, we have the Captain Tusk Tooth smiley face, which is something that I want to get tattooed at some point. Fun fact. We've got a bunch of really fun things. There's like cupcakes that I'm assuming are like smooching. I love Jester. I miss her so much. Should I rewatch Campaign 2? That's a lot of hours. That is not a decision I'm equipped to make right now. Wow. Okay. Anyway, this has been fun. I'm glad I got to show this book off finally. But I'm not reading that. Not yet. I don't have an update on Strength Check yet. I'm about halfway. I think I'm like just before halfway, like 1 or 2 chapters from it. And I was going to update you at the halfway point, but I don't really have much to say that wasn't said within the first 50 pages. These two characters have a lot of baggage, and they're clearly into each other from the moment they meet, but they don't want to bring the baggage into each other's lives, and so they're both being resistant to it and trying to just be friends. And that's really all that's happening. Like, there's events happening, but that's the gist of the emotional arc so far. So maybe I'll come to you when they have their first kiss, because if it's a good one, I'll want to talk about it, and if it's a bad one, I'll want to talk about it. So that seems like a plan. I'm gonna get back to reading, and I will see you when the characters kiss. Hello friends, it is almost 6:30 on Monday. I have had a day, let me tell you. I woke up a little bit past 9 a.m. and did my whole morning routine, which took about an hour, and right when I was gonna get settled in and get work done, I felt the inklings of a migraine coming, so I was like, ooh, let me act fast, take some pain medicine, and get back in bed for a little bit, and hopefully it'll blow over. I was in bed for about 5 hours. It was rough. I ended up having to call out of work. Luckily, I have plenty of great coworkers who volunteered to take my shift. Obviously, only one of them needed to, but like there were several people who were like, hey, yeah, I understand. Let me know if you need me to cover, if you've already gotten someone. So I was in bed. I slept a little bit during that time, but mostly I was just laying there in agony. I had like a bag of ice over my entire face, trying to cool myself down because the heat makes my migraines worse. I took pain medicine the second I was able to after I had already taken it this morning. Like, I waited the recommended 6 hours or whatever, and like I'm taking more. And I still have a bit of a headache, but it's not awful anymore. It's just like a lingering ache. I'm definitely gonna take pain medicine once again right before I go to bed so that I can actually get some sleep tonight. But yeah, once I was feeling well enough to not be in bed, I was like, let me get up so that I have a chance of sleeping tonight. And I didn't want to look at screens, so I just read for a couple of hours, and I finished Strength Check, and this was fine. This was a silly little book. It was a good time. It's not high literature or anything, but it is kind of exactly the palate cleanser that I needed from not feeling so great about my reading lately. And I am definitely going to check out the second one. I know who the couple is in book 2. There's like a little blurb in the back to let you know, and I'm very intrigued. It is a like boss employee romance, and also one of them is a single dad. I am very intrigued. It's also male. All of the books in the series are queer. So yeah, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was still good, and I had a fun time reading it, so I'm glad that I picked it up. And I now get to move on to the next book for this vlog, and it is an ebook, so I will put the cover up here, but I will be reading The Battle Mage by Taryn Matheru. This is for the prompt of Spark, which is an author who has never disappointed you before. And this is a little bit cheating because I've only read 2 other books by this author, and neither of them disappointed, so it fits the prompt. But they were the first 2 books in this series, so I'm now finishing out the trilogy, and I'm assuming I'm gonna love it just as much as I did the first 2. But yeah, very excited. It is fantasy, which I did say I was a little bit burnt out on, but it's fantasy in a series that I know that I love, and it's not like super dense. It's not like The Wheel of Time or anything. It is YA. I've been describing it kind of as Lord of the Rings meets Pokemon. Lord of the Rings because it is like that high fantasy with all the different races, like elves and dwarves and orcs and stuff, and there's a war between the orcs and everyone else. Pokemon because these characters can summon demons, and these demons have different forms that they take, like different species, I guess, and they all have different power ranking levels, and it just feels a little bit gamified to me in that way. And the first 2 books are so fun. Book 2 ended off on a huge cliffhanger, so I'm so excited to see where we start off. I'm going to probably pick that up, maybe not tonight, because like I said, I don't want to do a lot of screen time because of my headache, migraine, whatever you want to call it, but definitely tomorrow I will be picking it up, so I will see you when I've got an update on it. Hello friends, it is Tuesday night. I am 25% of the way through The Battle Mage, and I'm having a fantastic time. It's such a fast read. It's fantastic. I'm loving it. Except, I just finished a chapter that was super harrowing, super stressful, big battle scene going on, and it ended with like, blah 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 would live, and so would all his friends. Great, fantastic. Swipe to go to the next page. The next chapter opens up with, I'm not going to say the name, but blank was dying. What? I will say, this is a character that we have not, like, known very long, like, just introduced in this book, but, like, my heart, I don't want this thing to die, this person, this character. I'm trying to be, like, vague and confusing about it to not be spoilery. My jaw literally dropped. Like, I swiped to the next page and was just like, I'm deeply upset by this, but I'm gonna keep reading because this book is really good. I'm having a great time. So, yeah, just a quick little update to let you know that I am in shock. Hello friends, it is Wednesday, about 12:45 in the afternoon, and I was doing a little bit of reading while I had a video exporting and uploading and all that. I can't use my computer when I'm doing video stuff because it will explode, so I was doing some reading, and I am just past the 2/3 mark. I think I'm 68% through this book. I'm like suffering and loving every second of it. Like, it is such emotional whiplash in the best way. Like, there's such a tender scene with characters like being all soft with each other, and it's just so heartwarming. And then the next chapter, there's a death. And then it'll be another chapter where there's like some good team morale happening, and this ragtag group of soldiers is getting along, and they've got this new banner to fly under. And then the next chapter, there's an attack from the orcs. Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy, and like it's so fast paced. Like, I will read 7, 8, 9 chapters in a row, not even realizing it, because I'm so invested in this, and I have to keep reading to find out what's gonna happen. So, don't be surprised if I finish this book tonight, because I really just want to know what happens. It's the conclusion of the whole series, so I'm also like very scared, and I don't want it to end because I love it so much. But it's fine. I'm probably gonna finish it tonight. If not tonight, then definitely tomorrow morning. But I'm like, I want to, but I don't want to at the same time. Oh, I really love this. I feel like I want to tell you more about what's happening, but I can't because we're so far into the final book of the series. I don't want to give any major spoilers or anything, so like, I'm just suffering deep inside not being able to talk about this. But yeah, that is my update. I guess I will see you when I have finished The Battle Mage. I finished The Battle Mage. I'm so sad. What do you mean that's the last one? What do you mean there's not a million more books following these characters and their adventures? Like, I mean, technically there is another book. There's the prequel, but that's like a prequel. It doesn't really count because it's not following the same story. It's like the one mentor character's origins, and like, I'm excited to read it. I am, but I want to see more of Fletcher and all of his friends. I'm so sad that this is over, but that was so good. It was about 100 pages shorter than I thought it was at first, because I am stupid and didn't look at the table of contents of the ebook until close to the end, and I was like, oh, I felt like 150 pages left, and then I looked at the table of contents and I saw that 100 of those pages were excerpts and the, like, not glossary, but like extra material in the back, about the author, all of that. So I really only had like 50 pages at that point, and I was like, what? So that was a shock, but it was so good. I would recommend this to people who enjoy like Aragon or Ranger's Apprentice, which we know I love, or it kind of gives How to Train Your Dragon vibes. It's like that kind of thing. So if you're into those, definitely check out the Summoner series by Taran Matharu. Top notch. I will be reading the prequel as well as every other book this guy has written. Oh, I'm so sad, but that was so good. But that means, I didn't even think about the implications of finishing this book, but that means I only have one more book left for this vlog, for this readathon, and that's Tusk Love. I should check on the dust jacket. That's the word I'm looking for, the dust jacket that I've been flattening out. I actually didn't use my boyfriend's desk and his desk mat because he was worried the cats would get under it, because they do like to play around on his desk quite a bit, and he didn't want it to get damaged, so it is actually in my office underneath a bunch of board games. So I should check on that. But then, I guess tonight before bed, when I do my pre-bed reading, I will be picking up Tusk Love. And I could not be more excited. Wow. What a wild day. My emotions are all over the place, and it's all because of books. Yeah. I am gonna get this under control, and I will see you later. Sorry for the sound of the AC being on, but I've been reading in the living room while I'm waiting for my boyfriend to get home from his usual weekly bike ride that he does with his friends. I am not quite 100 pages in, but I've just gotten to the first kiss. You guys, why am I obsessed with this book? Why is it everything I've ever wanted? Do you remember earlier in this vlog when I was talking about being in a slump and like not wanting to read fantasy or anything? Who is that person? Because it's not me anymore. This is so good, and I'm so obsessed, and I'm gonna read a couple more chapters before my boyfriend gets home, and then I'm gonna pick it up immediately tomorrow morning, because all I want to do is read this book. Hello friends, happy Thursday. It is about 1 p.m. and I officially have 100 pages left of Tusk Love, less than 100 pages, because this is 269 and I've read 172. I'm obsessed. Why is this like the best book I've ever read? And why is a loud car going by as soon as I start filming? This is just so good. It's so good. I love Oscar and Guinevere and their dynamic. It is a little bit rushed, but like, it's a romance book. The romance is supposed to be the focus, so I'm forgiving on that end. I love being in Exandria and like all of the little like nuggets of information that I know. I think there's a motorcycle that just went by that I know from watching Critical Role, like all the places that they're stopping, and they mention Allfield, which is Allfield has a special place in my heart from the beginning of campaign 2. One interesting thing that I've noticed is the lack of D&D terms, because Critical Role, the first 3 campaigns are played with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, but they have recently put out Daggerheart, their own campaign system, their own playing system. I don't know what it's called, but like it's like D&D, but it's a different setup, and they can't use some of the copyrighted terms. So in here, they have used Daggerheart terms for some of the races or ancestries. So like instead of tieflings, they are infernals. Instead of tabaxi, which are cat people, they are Qatari, which is the term used in Daggerheart. But then the classes are not the Daggerheart classes, as far as I'm aware. So instead of wizards, they're called arcanists. And instead of, what's the one they just used? Instead of a sorcerer, this person is a rune child, and druids become wild mages. And I just think that's really interesting. So every time that happens, I'm like taking note of it. But yeah, I'm having an absolutely fabulous time with this. I do have work in a few hours, but work is at 4, which means I have to leave at 3:30, which means I have to get ready at 3. I think I could finish this in the next 2 hours. I'm gonna give it a shot anyway, but yeah. I don't want to finish it, but at the same time, I want to keep reading. I will see you, I guess, when I have finished Tusk Love. Hello friends, it is 2:33 p.m. and I finished Tusk Love, and as you saw, I put the dust jacket on reversed. It was easier than I thought it would be. I think it is slightly off center or whatever, but it's fine. I can always flatten it back out and do it again, but I think I need to put it between some books to really like get it settled in there and see where it has creased. Is that the word I want? I don't know. When I tell you that this is in the running for my favorite book that I've read so far this year, I am not exaggerating. This was so good! I was like giggling and kicking my feet and like genuinely feeling emotional, gasping out loud. Oh, I loved it. And this is such a cute cover too. I know that's not what Oscar and Guinevere look like because it's Ford and Jester, but I like this cover a lot. I do like the original cover, like, oh, it's the other side because it's reversed. Like this is beautiful, absolutely stunning, but I can't not do Jester's cover on the front. Like, it's so fun. Oh, I love this. I had such a great time, and I am so glad that I've got this now. Oh, it's amazing. It's so good. But yeah, going from thinking that I was in an awful reading slump and never wanted to read anything again to reading several really good books in a row, each one getting better and better until we got to one that could be my favorite of the year. Insane trajectory for a vlog, but here we are. What a wild ride it has been. I'm not looking forward to editing this because I know I've got a bajillion hours of footage, but you know what? That's fine. I am happy with the books that I've read. for the most part, and that's really all I could ask for. But we have now come to the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone.